Hello, social beings. Today we talk about the Ice Age. Now, this might sound like a weird conversation to be having in 2022, but there are geologists out there who have already identified that we are still in an Ice Age, and we have been in an Ice Age for a long period of time. Now, I think it's fair to say that every single person on the planet who exists in the now moment, who's watched things like The Day After Tomorrow and all the movies about geology and the way that the world's kind of mapped out, we are assuming that the Ice Age is going to be a massive freeze across the whole globe, or massive ice caps breaking away in major ways where the whole world has got a tsunami coming for it, or the big freeze, or the big bake. When we talk about the Ice Age as well, I really don't want to just talk about ice and snow and frost. I want to talk about the difference between the maximum temperatures around the world, maximum heat, versus maximum freeze, yeah? The big freeze versus the big bake. Let's call it that. And I'm talking from my perspective, so any geologists out there and higher level professionals that are experts in this field, feel free to reach out to me and educate me more on your industry and what you're actually doing, because I'm only going to talk about what I know from my perspective and use the language at which I do know. But it is evident, and it is incredibly important, that we do identify that today in January 2023, let's not get confused, we've just left 2022 behind, we are now in 2023, but we've had an Ice Age in 2022, and it is inclining. Now, the way in which I confirm this is the simple fact that in United Kingdom we had absolute high temperatures that we've never had before, ever on record in the United Kingdom. Are we looking at that? Because I know the higher ups are. Now, we've got to be aware that the higher ups are not going to repeatedly tell us everything that they see that's going on. So it's up to us to understand the ecology of the world and how things ripple out across space and time. I would suggest that everyone goes and studies what actor network theory is, because for me, actor network theory is the best social construct in which we do have, that gives us a clear mapping and landscape of how everything is interconnected. Yeah, there is no accident, there is no avoidance, no conspiracy. It is all divine points and strings, lines and dots. Yeah, it is that geometry, it is that wholeness coming together. So this is going to be a short transmission, because actually the divine did ask me 2 months ago to come on here and say, right, Louise, we really want you to do a piece on the Ice Age, and we want you to say the Ice Age is here now. And I said, no, divine, I love you, but I mean, I've done a lot of career suicide in my time. I don't want to touch it, because I don't know enough about the Ice Age. I don't want to go there. And they said, yeah, but I'm telling you, the Ice Age is coming. And then what happened? We had maximum heat in the United Kingdom. And what's going on in America? What happened in America at the end of the year? That snow blizzard, that snowstorm. What is that? If we are identifying unprecedented events around the world related to weather and temperature and all of that, we've got to look at that, and we've got to understand, okay, whether or not we understand what an Ice Age is, and we can all talk about what we think an Ice Age is, but we're all looking at it from books and studies, because none of us have actually lived in an Ice Age before. So no matter how much experience and how much you've studied, all these geologists and all these beautiful scientists out there, none of us actually lived through it. So in the now moment, yeah, we are in an Ice Age, and next year, consecutively, the next 7 years, or let's say until 2027, we are going to see increasing blizzards in the United States and increasing soaring temperatures in the United Kingdom. I believe in the United Kingdom we reached around 34, maybe 35, never done before. This year we're looking at about 37 Celsius, potentially in the summer. Yeah, but we're looking at breaking records again. We've got to look at that, because the higher ups have got that. They're logging that. They're aware that this is an Ice Age, but they're not going to tell us everything. They're not going to tell us what we don't need to know, because we don't need hysteria around the world. Do you get what I mean? And the conspiracy theorists who are going to suggest that there's satellites up in the sky controlling the weather. I mean, we're not going to disgrace or limit anyone's belief, because there are so much stuff happening that we don't know about. There are satellites and explorers and spacecrafts and rockets that we've never seen or heard of that are out there. Yeah, past the Kármán line, exploring the I wanted to say the peripherals of space and time, but it's a lot more than that. you know. And I'm sorry, but when you if you look at my watch list, I keep adding important content to the watch list here, which is a playlist that consists of everything I speak about across the channel, all the predictions, and linking into the ecology of it. I'm showing you where it's happening in the real world. So there is a piece up there about the snow blizzard, and in that you'll see what the shots look like of America during the snow blizzard. And excuse me, does that look like an ice age or not? It does, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? So although we're still alive and the world hasn't crumbled and the whole ground hasn't cracked open and the lava isn't pouring out from the core, like in the movies, it's still important to know that we are in an ice age now. And it is really important to pay attention to people like Greta, actually, because everyone who is focusing on climate change and screaming about improving the ecology of the world, and things being more eco-friendly, it's really important because we are destroying the planet every single day we live and breathe at this point, you know. And I'm going to have to be honest, I have to keep saying the higher ups, because the power isn't in our hands. The higher up do have all of the control here. And I don't blame them or judge them for keeping so much information away from the general public, because it does create unnecessary hysteria. But that in that same breath, that the stuff that the government do choose to push forward and in the media, it's such a disappointing thing, because they pull on limiting threads and limiting narratives that keep the audience, the people, the matrix, the collective following a thread of somewhat unconscious, somewhat biased and minimalistic, very minimalistic outlooks on life as well, you know. And that's a shame. I mean, because we could have such a higher consciousness community and world, but actually, why would the government want that? How dare we make everyone conscious enough to make their own decisions? What would the government do where everyone was out here being diversion? It wouldn't benefit, would it? And I agree, we can't have too many people like me out here waffling on all the time, because otherwise we wouldn't have people doing the everyday jobs that we need the world to run by, right? I get it, I understand the system, I love the system for what it was and how it's been created, because it was needed. But I mean, anyone who is on this channel and resonating and want to know the truth about the world and life as we know it, tap the like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. I am going to talk about something else today, and that's going to be dropping tomorrow, and that is going to be about a really significant law that's coming in. There's a new law that's coming in. I haven't done any background on this, but I know this to be true. This is going to be the future of law. I've been given some intel on a decree that is going to be coming in, and it's going to account for the world, and it's going to change the game in regards to legality. So I'm going to go on that. That's going to be called the future of law, world law, extraterrestriality, and we're going to dig into that, okay? And that's really significant. If you do find my content interesting, please do hit the like. Feel free to hit me in the comments with your favorite bits and bobs. Do check out the website. I've got so much publications and insight coming already over there, loads of reports, loads of stuff of what I'm up to, loads of technology is being developed at this time as well, and I'm always looking to co-create and work with like-minded souls. So anything you want to share and get involved with, please let me know. I also do like sharing other creatives' work. So if you do have a speech, a philosophy, a poem, a statement, anything you want to advocate for, you want to advertise or promote anything that you're doing in your business and your life, get at me and we can get you a nice infographics going. Potentially, depending on what you're doing and where you're at in your career, we can find out if that needs to be something I can do for free or that you can provide to me already fully established that I could just promote. But we'll go from there, really, okay? But I'm sending you love and light. I want you to stay tuned. There's a lot more predictions coming out in regards to what's going on in the future. I haven't spoken about the Great Depression and what that's going to look like from 2024 to 2027. And I haven't even gone in on the yearly candles of the recession. We're looking at a breakdown of what the recession is going to look like for us month to month and how that's going to really change the world, because we've been speaking about inflation and I haven't been on the news for about a week now. It's been Christmas and we've been on holiday, so I don't know if the talk about inflation is still reaching the media. But what I will leave everyone with is, please be aware when you see something on the news, right, and it's significant and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that, that's shocking, please don't forget about it. because the media will run it for a period of time for their own personal benefit, and then they'll drop it and they'll focus on something else. But that will still be going on. Look how long we voted on Brexit if you're in the UK. Then we dropped Brexit, left it alone, had COVID, had a whole load of other stuff going on, and Brexit was running underground for all of that time, still going on. And then Brexit's done, now we've moved out, all of this has happened, and look what's going on now. Inflation is through the roof, and that's a collective thing as well. We'll talk about the economic crisis from all around the world. There's so much going on at this time, and your mind's got to stay tapped in and tuned in. If you know there's something on the news that has stimulated you, concerned you, intrigued you, and it's not on the news anymore, write it on a post-it note, stick it on your wall, and then every month you go and do a Google search and find out what the latest update on that is. Because once the media once the gov take it off the public agenda, you're going to want to follow the thread still, because I'm telling you, when it's not public knowledge and it's in the background being done in through bills and agendas and in Senate and conferences and stuff like that, you're going to want to stay tuned. You're going to want to pull the thematics from it, right? You're going to want to run your own discourse analysis, critical realism, all of that good stuff. You're going to want to analyze the data a little bit here so you can pull on the truest thread, because there's a lot going on. And it's not being looked at well enough. And that is what hermitology is here for. That is why the Hermitologist was born, and born again, may I add, because fucking hell, we died for our sins over here. We died for this. We sacrificed our soul. We pinned ourselves to the cross. We have been burned several times over for our ancestors and for the divine. So I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to love you, and I'm going to come back with so much more juice, okay? Check out all the content on the channel. Share my content. Please get it out to the wider world. And I'll be back soon. Love and light.